Probably there's nobody in the country who doesn't know about Ramdev, we will leave him alone. But what Acharya Ji has created in this country, in the form of this Patanjali brand, in a matter of just about probably 12 years or 13 years, it's become one of the biggest brands in the country, bringing a totally new dimension to India's business. Over $2 billion business, and see, he's the CEO, look at him.
CEO without salary.
So, CEO without salary, CEO without suit, without jacket and without tie. This is an exemplary model of a Desi company, an Indian company, really doing well. It is something that the business community in the world, particularly in India, has to learn, that with such simplicity, but with absolute devotion towards what you're creating, what can be created is so phenomenal. In this FMCG arena where they are, as far as I know, I don't think no company in the country in a matter of 10-12 years' time has become a $2 billion company as they have become. And they have the largest food processing industry in the world. Everybody knows these things, but what people do not know is… I had the privilege of visiting their lab, what they're creating there. They have kind of documented 72,000 medicinal plants, which has never been done before in a most scientific manner. All this, look at the simplicity, one man is shirtless, another man like this. This man is production and execution, this man is marketing. This is something that India has to learn from. I've been speaking about this, but these are exemplary models of that to run major businesses, you don't have to strangle yourself with a tie. What you're seeing here, I believe, is the future of India's business houses. I'm taking the liberty of inviting Acharya Balakrishna Ji. This year it's all fixed up, but 2019, the Insight, which is a business meet, where we have had people like Ratan Tata, Narayan Murthy, K.B. Kamath and many others. Almost all the top corporate leaders have been here. Next year, he's coming here as the corporate leader.
When I first heard about you many years ago, I rolled my eyes and I muttered something about guru types. And until few months ago, when my sister gave me your book, Inner Engineering, which happens to be New York Times bestseller, it changed my perspective. And honestly, if it wasn't New York Times bestseller book, I would have not read it. What is it about the West, this West stamp that we can't do without it? I mean, there's so many books, and unless Americans don't approve of it, it just doesn't make sense. Why is that?
So, we've still not gotten out of that Firong syndrome, it has to come from there. Today, why do you think so many people are talking about yoga? The yoga they're talking about in India is largely a rebound from the American coast. They're not talking about the yoga that is here. This is the source of yoga.
That brings to me a question about our roots ingrained in yoga and spirituality. But where has it got us as a nation, as a country, as a continent?
But let's understand this very clearly. Here we always focused on individual development. Because without creating great human beings, there is no great nation, there is no great culture, there is no great world. World, nation, society, these are just words. It's just you and me. What kind of people we are, that's the kind of society, that's the kind of nation, that's the kind of world we will live in. So we always focused on individual development. In this we produce stellar human beings, absolutely fantastic human beings for thousands of years, who created a fantastic culture.
Sadhguru, these days, the common discussion which is going on is again about the refugees. They are coming in millions and millions and millions, where our own are starving.
We are trying to project our inefficiency as compassion. I don't like that. We don't know how to man our borders, but we are talking about compassion. That's not the truth. When somebody comes to the nation's door because they are violently persecuted somewhere, we should treat it differently. After all, they are human beings. But for economic well-being, people are daily porous borders, people are going across here and there. We need to do something about it. If you just allow people and give them ration cards and identity cards simply without any accounting, this is going to be a disaster. This will lead to all kinds of problems in future. You cannot run a nation without knowing who is in this country. If you want to be really inclusive, we can make the two countries into one. Yes. We can make Bangladesh into a union territory and make it a part of this country. If you're ready for that, I think India is ready for that. If you talk about inclusiveness, that's a way to include, isn't it? Not slipping into my house from the back door and saying, include me, it's not going to work.
Okay, now we'll move to your favorite topic.
I didn't know you figured out all those things.
Okay, now we move to Shiva.
Oh.
So Shiva is what I got from reading about it and doing my practices and spending time with you. Shiva is not somebody looking, like sitting up there and looking at all of us. Shiva is a dimension. It is what they say in science, a black hole where nothingness seems to be the origin of universe. But okay, tell me that so Adi Yogi, the very first yogi, was somebody who has access to that dimension. So why is it that you are obsessed with Adi Yogi? Isn't it like making it about the container and not the contained? Sadhguru, isn't it like that?
Till now I've not said a word about him, you brought him.
No, but you've made the sculpture of Adi Yogi and you…
Yeah, it's only 1.5 years old, but you're not checking what I was doing these 36 years. Let's come to that, that's fine. See, about Adi Yogi is not an obsession, or the Adi Yogi is a plan. You talked about nothing. If you want to understand nothing, you must put a hyphen between no and thing. It's not a thing. That doesn't mean it does not exist. Now, science is talking about no things. That means non-physical dimension of existence, something that is not a thing, but still a powerful force. The source of all that exists here as physical stuff essentially comes from that which is not a thing, or no thing, or Shiva.
So my last question is, Sadhguru, that about our youth. Apparently the statistics say that every 1 hour, actually less than an hour, a young person below 25 is committing suicide. Why is that?
Suicide is not a pleasant thing. You must look at what psychologically that person goes through to come to that decision. It's the most horrible part of one's life, where somewhere they feel so trapped, either by physical situations, financial situations or emotional situations, so absolutely trapped when there is no other way. This is when they take that kind of violent exit which we call as suicide. Why is this happening? You must understand, in this country, in 2017, 7,600 children below 15 years of age have committed suicide. Below 15 years of age, when they must be bursting with life and wanting to live. Below 15 years of age, if they want to commit suicide, what is it? We are somewhere driving ourselves to a certain desperation. One big cause for all this is education system. So youth means an exuberant energy. But most of the time, the problem with the youth is they don't have the necessary clarity nor balance. We are launching a campaign called Youth and Truth in the month of September. We are doing events across the country in various universities. We expect you and all your friends in the industry and in the media, please be a part of it. Such a large youthful population, without necessary clarity, without competence, without balance, they could be the biggest disaster on the planet. But if we organize this well, we could be the greatest miracle in the world.
My message to all the youth who are going to participate in this, you can ask Sadhguru all kind of questions, about monthly cycles, about sex, drugs, all the scandalous questions.
This is being pitched as Youth and Truth, unplug with Sadhguru, ask whatever you want.
Ask whatever you want.
Nothing is a taboo.
नमस्कार। यह भौतिक दुनिया विपरीत चीजों से बनी है। स्त्री और पुरुष, यिन और यांग, ईडा और पिंगाला, शिव और शक्ति, दायां मस्तिष्क और बायां मस्तिष्क, या फिर आप इसे कोई भी नाम दे सकते हैं। विपरीत चीजों के मिलन की चाहत, प्रेम, जीत, महत्वाकांक्षा, काम वासना और योग जैसे अनेक रूपों में सामने आ रही। योग का मतलब है मिलन। योग का सबसे आसान रूप है हाथ जोड़कर नमस्कार करना। नमस्कार करने से हमारे अंदर के विपरीत ध्रुवों में एक तालमेल आ जाता है। अपने हाथों को नमस्कार मुद्रा में जोड़ें और किसी व्यक्ति या वस्तु को प्रेम पूर्वक ध्यान से देखें। 3 से 5 मिनट में आप अपने अंदर एक तालमेल महसूस करेंगे। नमस्कार करके अपने अंदर शांति लाइए। नमस्कार करके अपने अंदर प्रेम लाइए। नमस्कार करके अपने अंदर मेल। इस अंतर्राष्ट्रीय योग दिवस के अवसर पर आप योग के मिलन को जानें।
हम सब इस नमस्कार रूप में हाथ मिलाकर पूरे विश्व को जोड़े। मैं चाहता हूं इस हाथ जोड़ने के लिए आपकी अंतरात्मा खिले।
So, how to motivate you? See, when your car doesn't start, somebody has to push. Once it gets going, after that we don't have to push it all the way, then it'll go. We can teach you ways when you start experiencing it as a part of it. Fires you up. You must fall in love with somebody or something. Don't find a somebody, you must fall in love with something. Something means something to you, you will wake up in the morning. Nothing means anything to you, where is the reason to wake up in the morning?
How do you fall in love?
When Shiva wanted to teach yoga to his first disciple, which was his own wife, Parvati, she was very eager to learn the way to enlightenment because she saw him as a glorious being and she wants to become like him. She said, "How? I'm ready to do anything." Shiva said, "No need to do anything, just come sit here on my lap." She hesitated because, "Oh, I don't want to be petted. I want to be enlightened." He said, "Relax, come and sit here."
She sat here. He pulled her closer. Not out of his needs, to fulfill her need. And he pulled her so closer, 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 closer. And slowly she became a part of him. So there is a dimension of Shiva which we call as Ardhanari, where one half is man, one half is woman. What the imagery is trying to tell you is that it's only by inclusion, that life will blossom. If you have to include something into yourself, there must be space, isn't it? If I have to make somebody a part of myself, I have to throw out half of me out, only then. That's why the expression falling in love, not rising in love, okay? Not standing in love, not climbing in love, falling in love, because a part of you has to fall. Only then there will be space for something else or somebody else. If all of you, the whole of you falls down, there'll be enormous space. You can include the whole cosmos as a part of yourself. If at least a part of you falls down, you may fall in love with one more human being or one more aspect of creation. So, we can teach you ways to empty yourself. If a part of you falls down, that empty space has to be filled with something. And that something which is not you, when it becomes a part of you, when you start experiencing it as a part of you, it fires you up. Because right now, what you think is me is not you, just a bundle of thoughts, emotions, ideas and prejudices, isn't it? That's not you. So what is you has not come into experience. So how to motivate you? When you're not yet, how to get you going? You're not yet. Right now all that is there is a bundle of thoughts, a cloud of thoughts and emotions and all kinds of stuff, isn't it? So that's why the sadhana. Just come and do some sadhana. Initially somebody will motivate you. See, when your car doesn't start, somebody has to push, okay? Once it gets going, after that we don't have to push it all the way, then it'll go. So initially nothing wrong using a little bit of a push, everybody needs a push. There are very few people who can propel themselves from step one. Most others need push, often on a little kick here and there. The rest they will do. See, we are always thinking of changing the system. I'm not saying it should not, it should. But within the existing systems, we can do many things, depending upon the individual teachers and individual educators, how they operate. Because when you try to change the system in your own time, when you want to change the system, you must understand any system. Even within the family, if you want to change a system, it will take many years. It's not going to change overnight. Sometimes a generation has to pass for it to change. To walk into your house with your shoes on, one generation has to pass, isn't it? So, instead of thinking how to change the system, yes, we must have the vision of changing the system, but within the system, how to do the maximum delivery is something that all of us should always look at. Otherwise, we are always talking about future generations without addressing the current generations. It'll never work that way. It'll only be a dream. We have to make the difference in the current generation. Only then, if you take a small step now, the next generation will take a bigger step. But without taking this step, we are dreaming of a big step, it will not happen. It will be just an idea which will not work. So, as an educator, you mentioned the word meditation. We must understand this, what meditation means. The word meditation, the English word meditation doesn't mean anything. If somebody sits with their eyes closed, people think they're meditating. But you can sit with your eyes closed for many reasons. Unable to bear the world, you can close your eyes. It's you may be… in yoga there are many things, you may be doing japa, tapa, dharana, dhyana, samadhi, shunya, samyama, we don't know what you're doing. So there is… the word meditation is not specific, it is too general and it's not saying anything in particular. Let us say if we are thinking to align the word meditation with what we refer to as dhyan or dhyana or dhyanam as you go south. Because Hindi-speaking people, you have a way of clipping away the words in the end. We say Rama, you say Ram. You say Dhyanam, you say Dhyan. You're cutting off everything in the end, that's your option. But if you're thinking it is dhyan or dhyana or whatever, what this means is, if you sit here, if you have a distinct experience that your body is here, your mind is somewhere else, what is you is elsewhere. Or in other words, there is a little space between what is you and what is your body. What is you and what is the content of your mind. Suppose this little space was achieved within you right now, would all these young boys be complaining about stress? You must do one thing. If you are an aviator, you would know this. You're driving to the airport, traffic jam, traffic jam, traffic jam. You curse everybody and honk and do all this and get there. Then you fly. Then you're flying over the traffic jam, it all looks very nice, you know. Simply because of the distance. When you were in it, it was a terrible thing. Once you're flying above it, it looks quite nice actually, traffic jams. Once there is a little distance, that's the end of suffering. So if you create a little space between you and your body, between you and your mind, this is the end of suffering. Because there are only two kinds of sufferings in your life, physical suffering, mental suffering. Do you know any other kind of suffering? Only two sufferings. If you distance yourself a little bit, that's all. Distancing is not by attitude. Anyway, these are accumulations. You gathered this body, you gathered this mind. If you keep what belongs to you one way and what is you in another way, it's taken care of. So we can teach you a simple method with which you can do this, very, very simple process. Every human being is capable of this, let's understand this. When it comes to external realities, all of us are differently capable, no two human beings are equally capable. When it comes to inner possibilities, all of us are equally capable. No human being has come better endowed than the other. It is just that most human beings never look in that direction. If I close my eyes and sit here, somebody walks into this hall, I will tell you what kind of person is walking. You will see once you sit like this, your brains will work better, believe me. If you know human body from within, you yourself look at this. Just see how your body feels when there's food in the stomach and how your body feels when the stomach is empty. You will see your body and your brain will work at its best when your stomach is empty. If food is constantly being processed in your digestive system, a certain amount of energy naturally is gone there, so both your brain and body will not function at their best. If you want to be at your full potential, you must keep your body and your metabolism of the body in such a way, whatever you eat, within 1.5 to 2.5 hours, your stomach must be empty. This is what yoga always insists. Within an hour and a half to two,
your stomach should be empty. Stomach being empty does not mean hunger. Only when the energy levels run down, you feel hunger. Otherwise, stomach must be empty. In this corner, there is a stone mantapam or a pavilion where we have set up an ideal office setup for you. Low-level chairs, low-level tables. You will see once you sit like this, your brains will work better, believe me. I cannot speak or explore something without folding my legs. At least one leg must be folded, otherwise I know the difference, how my brain will work. If you don't know the difference when it's working and when it's not working, you are a serious problem. Just legs folded and sit down for some time, keep your spine erect, suddenly your ability to perceive, I'm telling you, if I close my eyes and sit here, somebody walks into this hall, I will tell you what kind of person has walked in. Oh, Sadhguru, you are a great yogi, that's not the point. Even the dog in your house knows this, isn't it? Yes or no? Your dog is sitting under the sofa, someone comes at the main door, he knows who has come. Yes or no? What a dog can know, you cannot know. No, what I'm trying to tell you is, essentially the whole evolutionary process from an amoeba to being a human being is more complex and sophisticated neurological system, isn't it? Yes or no? You have, as a human being, the most sophisticated neurological system. If a dog can sense it, you can also sense it. It is just that you are in a muddle of thought all the time. Because the necessary attention is gone in most people. Because they are seeing a kaleidoscope of colors on their screens and stuff, they've lost that ability. One thing is to bring this attention back. Every dimension of yoga is made to heighten your attention to a level that whatever is here, you should not miss it. Everything must be in your experience. That is when you can call yourself a full-fledged human being. Do not carry your attention deficiency as some kind of a qualification.
Anything yields to you only to the extent you pay attention to it. In this aspect, breath is a beautiful device to practice attention. Attention not for a specific purpose, simply to be attentive. Whether you're an artist, you're a scientist, you're a spiritually oriented person, you're a business person, or you're just living your life in terms of your family, your love, your joy, all these things will yield to you only because you have paid sufficient attention. Human attention can open just about any door in the universe. But to be able to be attentive without purpose, without calculating the results, just to be attentive, to make life force into an attentive process. Your attention can be just of the mind, or you can engage your whole body in your attention. If you need to understand this, if you watch a tiger or a leopard or a cheetah crouching for its hunt, you will see he is not only paying mental attention, his entire body is attentive, is focused, the energies are focused. So if you engage your body, your energies into the mental attention, suddenly this attention becomes a tremendous force which makes variety of aspects of life to yield to you. Life yields to you only to the extent that you are able to create the power of attention. The power of human attention is an incredible force. You have to learn with necessary practice to unleash this force to your benefit and to everybody's benefit.
All of you should pay attention to, my wonderful vessel. Please, pay attention. Please, just do this right now. You shouldn't take your attention off this vessel. Just pay attention. Such a beautiful vessel. Please. So, now as I speak, see, you can't stay with that vessel. One moment, okay. Now, suppose you fell in love with this vessel. Now if I hide this vessel, you want to see it. It doesn't matter where the vessel goes, in your mind the vessel plays. Now your mind is like this, because you're emotionally involved with it. You fell in love with the vessel and now your mind is constantly. So this is what devotion is. It's a powerful way of paying attention. An effortless and joyful way of paying attention. If you try to concentrate on something, you'll get a headache. But if you fall in love with something, anyway your focus is 100% there, and you won't get a headache, you will be ecstatic. This is a more intelligent way of using your mind than anything that people have known as intellect. A devotee has a completely different perspective of life. It is a different dimension of intelligence, where he is able to access things that others cannot even dream of, effortlessly, joyfully, because emotionally he is involved, his attention is absolute. And whatever you pay attention to, if your attention is absolute, that dimension of life has to open, it has to yield, there is no choice.
We are giving out a certain instrument of grace. One thing is it has a unique reverberation, another thing is it'll be consecrated here, so this will be a powerful instrument in your life to be accessible to grace of Adiyogi, for you to soak in the tears of Shiva, tears of ecstasy.
Namaskaram, Sadhguru. This question is from Dhananjay from Delhi. I have been participating in the Mahashivratri festival at the ashram for the last 3 years, but this year I am unable to come because of the pandemic. Can you please guide me on how I can receive the grace of Adiyogi in 2021 without being in his presence? Is there a tool or sadhana that I can make use of?
Physical presence has its, has its own significance, but if your interest is receiving grace, wherever you are, it's possible. So this time, largely, this Mahashivratri will be largely online. That means you don't have to take the trouble of traveling. We will come to you in so many different ways, and please be available. We are, giving out a certain instrument of grace. This is a certain consecrated Rudraksh bead. The legend says Rudraksh is actually the tears of Shiva. So Shiva sat in a meditative state for a very long time. Everybody thought he is dead because he was completely unmoving. It looks like there was no breath, there was no nothing. But off and on, tears of ecstasy dribbled out of his eyes. That was the only sign of life that he showed, that there was an ecstasy that he could not control, which made him absolutely still. At the same time, once in a way, tears of ecstasy dribbled down. These teardrops fell on the planet or on the ground or in the earth
and became Rudraksh. That is what Rudra's Aksha means. These are Shiva's teardrops. There are many aspects to this. One thing is it has a unique reverberation. Another thing is it'll be consecrated here, so it'll become an instrument of grace. But it is also symbolism. The idea of wearing Rudraksh, the ascetics always wore Rudraksh because of all the creatures on this planet, from the virus to the bacteria, all the microbes, the worms, insects, plants, trees, birds, animals, none of them can consciously decide whether to reproduce or not. It just happens. If the seed falls out, another sapling rises, that becomes another tree. So, nobody can decide whether to reproduce or not. The only creature who has this power is to hold back the seed and not reproduce, but consciously, is the human being. I'm saying it is possible. Whether all human beings are capable or not is another matter, because the evolutionary process is a slow process, you know. It's not like on one day, tuck, it's done. It's happening still for some. So Rudraksh bead is symbol of that Shiva or the Adiyogi is represented by this in many ways because this is a symbol of conscious choice. You decide. The base processes of life, of eating, reproductive nature, sleeping, all these things you decide. Because once you take these things in your hands, your freedom of life is complete. If food, drink, excretion, reproduction and sleep, if these five things come into your hands, conscious hands, it's done, life, everything is free. So, Rudraksh bead represents that dimension, that you have chosen to become a conscious human being. It has its health and other benefits, that's a different matter. But one simple thing that you're telling yourself and everybody is, when I wear Rudraksh, I am a conscious being. I've decided. What is a compulsive activity for every other creature on this planet? For me, it is a conscious process. So, a Rudraksh bead which is consecrated in a certain way, which is… will be on Adiyogi for some time. Probably we will be giving out a few million Rudraksh, free of cost. It's going to cost us a lot in this, particularly in this, with 2020 behind us, that the foundation is sitting here without any revenue. But we are committed to doing this, or we will make it like pay as you can. People can pay if they wish to pay, otherwise they can take it. Because we do not want to make spiritual aspects related to money. Money is for services, to build the buildings, to provide you lighting, to provide you sound, to provide you all this, money is needed. Spiritual process, they're not paying me anything, do you know this? It's okay because I decided not to make profit in my life. I have a tango going, not a transaction. I have a tango both with Adiyogi and you, so no transaction, all right? For the spiritual element, there is no transaction. So, this Rudraksh will be coming with a few other things and these millions of Rudraksh will be mailed, so there is a cost to that. So when you get the Rudraksh, pay as you can, okay? You can pay for yourself, or if you want another 100 people to have these Rudraksh, you can pay for them. So this will be available, please make use of this Rudraksh, this will be a powerful instrument in your life to be accessible to grace of Adiyogi. So this is an opportunity, this Mahashivratri, for you to soak in the tears of Shiva, tears of ecstasy, not of misery. I think that you need that from now on in your life, if at all if tears come, they must be tears of love or joy or blissfulness or ecstasy. Tears of anger, tears of frustration, tears of fear, tears of misery, you must ban them. Huh? Hello? No tears of misery, no tears of frustration, no tears of anger, no tears of other kinds of, unpleasant things. Only tears of joy, love and ecstasy.